Oh, it's time. Hey! What is up, everybody? Hope you're having a lovely day. It's time to bust out the learn stream. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny because I guess the whole interesting thing about this process is that it's like the scope creep. It just keeps on. The project keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's like nonstop. It's like, oh, I want to do this now. Oh, I want to try this out now. Oh, I want to try this. It just keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But yes, it's all good at the same time. But anyway, everybody, hope you're having a lovely day. It's time to bust out the learn stream. And yes, if you haven't seen it yet, we do have. I finally put it up. The Ramtech AI, the prologue, is finally up on the Creation Kit. Not Creation Kit, the Creation Club. It took. What's the best way to say it? It took a lot longer than I thought. That's the best way to say it. It took a lot longer than I thought. What started as a process just to create one follower, just one robot follower, turned into two, turned into three, turned into I want to make a room for them so that you can go into this room, so it's not like randomly placed at the lodge or something like that. Don't want to do one of those things. Like I was like, oh, you can find it at the lodge. Like that's where everyone's dumping their stuff, in the lodge. So let me create a location where you go to and do this and try to extend or expand the whole little set of hideouts I've been doing through the tutorials I've been creating. So creating those tutorials is like, all right, let me just use what I know and create something, put it in Sidonia, and then just have a nice little room where you can access these three robots. And then it said, well, what about, let's create a more justification for it. Let's create a story behind it. And the story became more rooms. Well, I want to also add all the weapons here for some reason, and then all the armor there for some reason. Well, let me create a shooting gallery underground that justifies the reason for why these items are here. And it just kept on getting bigger and bigger. It's well, I want to try this now. What if I want to create a quest where you can go through, do some things? I want to do this now. I want to do this. And then last week when I held the Stern stream, I was pretty much thinking all right, yeah, I could probably finish this up on Wednesday of last week, Wednesday or Thursday of last week, and it's gonna be published Thursday or Friday. And then all of a sudden it's wait, you know what? It's I want to try this now, and then I want to try this. I want to figure out how to do this. So let me just write down. Everything that that I have. But yeah, it's now up on the Creation Kit. Check it out. It's always gonna be work in progress. But let me see. Let's go ahead and see what we're doing. What do I need to do here? Let me zoom in a little bit. Oh, let me turn this off too. Hold on a second. Let me turn this off. Okay, there it is. Create a follower through quest stages. All right, that's one thing that I learned and put in there. Let me see. We do a lot of disabling and enabling of NPCs, objects. So I created a cavern. So what did I do in that cavern? I created a nav cut, obstacle, or what? Yeah, or what is it called? It's one of these things. Collision cylinder. All right, nav cut collision. So we added one of those. We added explosions. We added X markers. No, let me see. Explosions. So let me do this. We did X markers, explosions, lighting, and we also found, putting it all together, we have, and this is funny, disable markers. I mean, I was in the last learn stream, I was basically pointing a trigger directly to an object, and then I'm starting to better learn the best way to architect a quest, setting up aliases and stuff like this, because I'm realizing the way how Bethesda structured a lot of their quests. Why is it broken apart? Why isn't it just one? It's and why are they referring one quest referring to aliases from another quest? Well, I get it. They're planning for things to break. And that's what I'm learning. It's plan for things to break. And if you do that, if the whole quest breaks, and I mentioned this last week, the whole quest, if things don't work the way that they're supposed to, right? and it doesn't make sense, then something bugged out. That's the best way to put it. Something bugged out. And what the architecture for what they're doing for a lot of the quests, for a lot of the objects, for a lot of the forms is based on the idea that something can break. And if it does break, they, at least from what I'm seeing, is like if an NPC in the render window, right, gets bugged out, well, what you do is you remove them and put them back in. That's it. For quests, right? For quests, let me pull up a quest real quick. Here. For like, yeah, this quest bugged out, right? This quest bugged out. What's the best thing to do? Duplicate it. But when you duplicate it, that means a lot of the links that you had, a lot of some of the aliases you had get broken, and that means you need to reconnect it. But there are ways in the architecture that that you could set it up so that you only need to replace one. Like the architecture I kind of created, right? Is like I am. Let's see, where's a good one? Like maybe it's like this. Like this. Like you see these things, right? Like sometimes they're connected multiple times to like it's like one person, right? But that's not the best way to do it. Instead, like you want to set it up that you only need to change one thing, and it's probably like one of these aliases. Like change one of the aliases once, right? And it updates everything else for you. So that was one of the craziest things I figured out. I was like, oh my goodness, if I architected this whole quest process with the means of like thinking that things could break, then I probably would have saved a lot of time. I remember there was one night, like, there was one night when one thing broke, and like a quest broke, or it messed up like all the fragments. Like all the fragments got unset for something I did. I don't know. So basically, I had to go through every single NPC I have in there. There's like there's 17 NPCs in here now. Like followers, crew members, whatever you want to call it. There's 17 that I had to reconfigure, and that took like 4 to 5 hours just reconfiguring all of them again. So like that was the thing. So if I knew this process, I mean, I probably need to do a video of it, but it's not something for beginners. I'll say that too. Like think about it. It's nothing that's not for beginners. It's something you have to know down the lines. Like okay, I understand. These things can break. If they break, what can I do? Well, like the workaround for a quest type form is duplicate it and reset it. And if that's the case, you only want to reset things once, and it covers everything. So there's a means to do that, and I think I started doing that towards the end. Like I started setting up these aliases, so that way I only needed, like if something breaks, I only need to change an alias. Right? Probably only need to change an alias. And if I change one alias, then the code is I don't know where I put it. I know there's something here. Yeah, like this. So get the alias, get the actor reference from the alias, not connect to the actor itself. So like this is, for example, this is Armament, one of the NPCs one of the main followers that I have in this creation, right? If I had to remove Armament from a render window, right, and this happened multiple times, if I like connected this directly to him, like connected this reference to go directly to him, that means every single time, every single reference that I had in this set of quests regarding to him, or even another quest, like his follower quest, that means I have to reset it. So I have to reset like maybe 4 or 5 locations. But if I do it this way, it's like use an alias, right, and get this actor. That's referring to the right alias. That means all I have to do is change the alias once. So big PSA, all right? Plan for things to break, because it happened so many times to me, like during this whole process. And I remember there's like during the earlier times when I'm just like working on this for the very first time, like learning this at the very first time, putting this together for the very first time, I couldn't figure it out. It's like, why is this not working? I don't understand. And I probably lost 2 days. I probably lost 2 days of productivity, like just trying to figure out. I was like, I don't get it. Why does this not work the way it should be? It doesn't make any sense. And then I think at that time I just started from scratch. All right, let me just start from scratch, and everything's working again. And then it breaks again. It's like, what's going on? And I realize, oh, if I duplicate it, connect everything back to it, it works again. So it's like you need a plan for things to break. That's the way to do it. That's the way to think about it. It's like, and there's, I know, like, it's like, oh, like I have this other idea. It's like, what do I have to do to accomplish this idea? It's like, I need to modify like this robot. If I modify this robot, what does that mean? It's like, if I modify it, that means like for that change to take place, I need to remove it from the render window and put it back in. And if I do that, that means it's going to break a lot of connections to it. So you need to, like, the best way to think about it is like, all right, let me plan this out so that if I do need to change something out and the process means that I need to either remove him from the render window or I need to duplicate a quest line to fix it, well then just only try to plan for things that to the point where you only need to change it once. And that's a lot to think of. That's a lot to think of. I really feel like that's an advanced thing. If I go back to my tutorial series, like, and that's another thing, I need to catch up the tutorial series to where I'm at now, and that's probably what I'm going to do like in the next week or so. It's like, all right, let me just create these tutorials, get an understanding, and hopefully get to the point where I say, hey, plan for things to break. Plan for things to break, and this is what you do. This is what you can do to help you plan for those things breaking. It's kind of maddening, but it's true. It's true that this is how it's working right now. So let's see. Let's go back to this. So enable disable markers. That was neat because I was connecting triggers to enable or disable a specific character and maybe make that or NPC and then make a bunch of things apparent to the NPC. But there's times when I had to remove the NPC. But now that we have the enable disable markers, found the enable disable markers, I can just connect things directly to that instead. So then, like if I need to change the NPC, at least it's not breaking a ton of other things. But yeah, so that's there too. Opposite here. If the actor is unique, you can tie the alias to the actor form rather than the placed actor. Sometimes, yes, but sometimes the quest doesn't work to the unique actor. I don't know why. So that's something. But hey, how you doing, Sadir? So yeah, like for some reason, like yeah, I had a quest, and it didn't make sense to me either. But I chose the unique option for the actor, but the quest didn't work. So that was another thing I didn't understand. It's like the only time when it worked is when I used the force. Use the force. Use the force to explain what I'm to show what I'm talking about. Yeah, I know, right? I know. So here's like, it's like I don't understand it either. But yeah, you know, that's exactly what I thought too for a long time. It's like, you know, it's unique. Why not connect it through the unique option, right? Like these three guys, Buddy, Augustus, Buddy, and Siobhan. They are three unique NPCs. So I thought, oh, I could use a unique reference. But for whatever the reason was, it didn't work. So I didn't get it. And then I started looking at, I started reverse engineering some of the other quests that are in the game already, and saying, oh, they don't do it either. So I don't know. So it feels like certain things work well with unique references and certain things don't. No, it's not true, because like I was wondering, like, there's another part I was wondering. It's like, wait, you know, there are some NPCs that, okay, well, yeah, that doesn't work. I don't know. Never mind. I'm not gonna go there. But yeah, so I had to use the specific reference and connect them that way. It's like. But yeah, you're right, and that's exactly what I thought would work too. And I don't understand why it doesn't work. I don't understand why it wouldn't work. No, I don't understand why. I don't understand why it doesn't work. I just know it didn't. And like when I was going through the quest, like, why does this not work? I don't understand. There should be a freaking hexagon above this person's head right now, and it's not. There's nothing on there, and I can't move forward on the quest. And then when I changed the reference to specified, and it suddenly worked. No, it's just like this. But that was the thought. So let me see. What else did I do? Enable disable markers. Nav cut collision. That was cool. This was super helpful. And maybe it's some adding on to like nav mesh ideas. But this thing grew so much. It grew so much from last week. I thought, yeah, I'm pretty much done. With like, and I'll do a walkthrough, and maybe I'll figure out the other pieces that I wanted to do. So explosions, so X markers, explosions, lighting. I also wanted to make more objects fly around. When that happened, enable the start Mars, like very helpful. I'll just put very helpful. I don't know. Let me see. What else did I learn today, or learn through the last week? Updating packages on NPCs. Applying sounds. I got it working with vendors, but that was only dialogue with not quest markers as well, so maybe it doesn't work when using markers. Maybe. Yeah, like all the follower quests, right? They're based on a unique alias. They're based on using a unique alias. Oh yeah, hiding markers is a necessity. So, yeah, it's like, I mean, yeah, vendors. I use it on vendors. I use it on. I'm wondering if it has to do with objectives. Because like, if I think about what might not seem to be on common ground is having something be an objective. So that might be the common thing. It's like if you have an objective tied to it, that's where something doesn't seem to work quite right. I don't know. But yeah, like all the follower quests I created in here, I created 15 different follower quests. Is that right? Did I do 15? 17. I did 17 different follower quests in this creation. It's like all of them using a unique alias. But none of these, all of these, do not use a unique alias. Now, I did see something that might be useful, is that they were pulling references from another quest, like external alias. That's what they're doing. So they're pulling from another quest and getting the alias there. So that might be something too to think about, like in terms of architecture. So like you only change it from like one master quest, and then everything else here is just referencing that big master quest. But yeah, so that was something I went through. That was some experience. So let me explain what happened, because this I finally published it today. I thought I would have it done Thursday, but then I had a different idea. And the idea was this: I have all these robots here. Let me go in game. Let me just go in game. Let me go in game. Let me show you. Let me show you what was up. So here we go. We're in the game. That makes sense. The objective would need to be in the cell. Okay. That could be it. Yeah. That might be the common ground for it. The reasoning. So this is the thought I had. Okay, one of the thoughts that I had all these robots here, right? I had robots here. Based on the last LEARNstream, it ended when like those little mini bots appeared in the diagnostics room, right? Which is like right here. Let's just go there. Let's go there. It should be like right here. So yeah. So we had these little robots pop into Daxnox's room. This guy, Armament, came alive. We killed him, and that ended the quest. And I said, you know what? That's not epic enough. So I decided that I wanted these guys, something to happen here, where you had all these guys sitting around, right? So that was one. That was one piece that I said, yeah, I want something to happen there. I want to make sure something happened there. The other piece I wanted was all these microbots, these ship-based microbots, right? I mean, initially, they were all like 12 of these microbots were here, like in this main room. And I decided, this could be actually fun. This is something that could be fun to do, like, and the quest that I decided to create a quest for it. And the quest is, gotta find them all. And yeah, according to terminal entry, there are 12 Ramtech ship crew microbots. I'm going to find them all. So instead of just having all of them in here, I decided, let's put them all around the facility and make a fun little game with them where you need to find them. So those are the two things that happened. And I decided, like, where can I hide them? It's like, I mean, and then try to create like all these other microbots that are just like, oh, these are not them. It's like, oh. So that was the concept I had in there, and I decided, hey, let's just hide things. Like, this was a fun, like, figure out like little places to hide them. Like, use rooms that didn't have any sense. Or, I mean, other than just being there, like, try to use some of the rooms or spaces that are now here. So, like, even like, I mean, I put this kitchen in area. It's like, oh, here's one of them, right? Just have like little fun things. There's like, oh, there's this one that's a pilot. Now my goal was to actually have him on here. I wanted to put him on here, but I couldn't make that work. It was so random. I don't understand that part either. But I wanted to put him on here, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it did. So I said I just chose to make it consistent. Like, when I loaded up, it could be here or it could be down there. Like, that's where he ended up. So I said, all right, I'll just leave him down here. So I decided, all right, let's make some use of rooms. Like, when we open up the simulators, like, this one opens up too, but there's nothing in there. So I said, all right, let me just put these little microbots. And my idea for these microbots eventually is when I finally learn how to use and modify and update NIF files, is to change them to have create their own little skin. So like, they really start becoming collectibles. And I think in different stories or chapters in the storyline I'm trying to create in my head right now is like, hey, there's a set of microbots to find here. Can you find them? So like, make this an ongoing thing. It's like, oh, you're in a different city or you're a different facility. Can you find all the microbots? So those are the two things that happen. Two things happen. It's like, I want something to happen here. And I wanted to make better use of these 12 microbots. Play around with those guys even more. And I wanted to create a situation where if we go into this battle, I can have 2 different companions with me. So that's what I wanted. 2 different followers. So let me just go ahead and quickly go through this process. I guess I didn't really need to do this. Yeah, let's get to the point where, yeah, just go to the point, because like, I don't want to spoil things either. I don't want to spoil things as I just go through this. Look, I completely expanded this area too. So this is one big thing. Are the microbots items or crew members? They are crew members. Because I thought it'd be fun, like if you have a big ship and you just have a bunch of these little microbots just going around. This was fun. I had fun setting this up too. Get this guy done. Oh, he came after me? How dare you? That's right. Oops. Get key here. So the nav mesh for these guys are kind of funny. Don't need to do that. Let's go straight. Like mech triples? Yeah, I know, right? So this is kind of funny too. Like, I don't understand why this guy changes spots. I noticed that a few times. Like sometimes on the right spot, sometimes not. And I have a package set to be at a marker here, and I've also have him forced to go to that marker. So I don't know. I don't know if I need to just delete him again and put him back in. I might do that, but yeah, it's happening on. I just noticed that it started happening on the one I've published too. But yeah, let me finish this guy. Equip this. But yeah, and I'd say like I'm gonna have like once I figure out how to edit NIF files and start customizing all these little microbots. Imagine what that could be. Imagine what that could be. Like all these little different microbots have a different look on them. It's like I'm really excited about getting that going on. Like changing the looks of these bots. Like imagine this guy with a mohawk or something or a specialized hat. Oh wait, did I? One second. Oh, I don't have it. All right, there you go. So I changed this a little bit too. So this is kind of cool. And figuring this out took a while. Because like I wanted, and you'll see, I wanted these other microbots to fall from the air. Looking forward to that tutorial, the customization? Yeah. So that was another thing I had to figure out. Because like I tried just placing them in the air, right? And I expected them to fall, but that doesn't happen in game. What happens is they just start on the floor. Like it automatically tries to find like a nav mesh spot for it to be on, right? So I created this little mechanism or means so that they're first suspended on an object in the air, and that a floor. I place the floor in the air, and that floor disappears. So I disabled the floor, and then those microbots would fall down. So that was one thing. So as you saw, wait, did I enable him? Oh, he's already gone. All right. So armament is now following me. So that was based on a script quest, I think. I'll show you that in a bit too. Oh, I should have saved. Oh man. Let me see. No, I'll just save right here. Let me see. Just do a quick save. Because this is the part that gets really interesting. And it's funny how they're not fighting right now. Come, we need to fight these guys. Alright. So we got the explosion going. We had all this debris flying around. And then we have an entrance going into that one cavern where you had all those practice robots that are now frenzied. So that's the big one. It's already here. So, and then I wanted these guys to join in the fray. So all of them are frenzied, so they're all shooting at each other. It's not just like they're just trying to target one person. They're frenzied, so they're attacking anything, which is fun. Creates this nice little crazy shootout. And this guy should get his grenade launcher going. Do it. Shoot him. Launch the grenade launcher. What's interesting about the grenade launcher too is that it has a minimum distance that needs to fire, which is good because it can hurt you too. Use it. There it is. Which is perfect for like all these little guys. But there you go. So he's the main guy that you need to focus, and that completes the quest. At one point, I had all these guys be objectives, but then you just see a ton of blue dots, and I didn't like that. I was like, because there's, let me see, I think there were 24, 24? Was it 24? There's 24, like enemy NPCs here. 24 NPCs, and like you just saw a bunch of blue dots. Like, no, it's like I don't want that. I don't want that. So here's the interesting thing. I set it up so that, I mean, based on the story, based on some part of the story, you can always reset these practice spots, right? And you have it there. So let me just reload, and let's see. So another interesting thing between ESP files and ESM files, there could be differences. Like, and I tested this early. It's like, is there something wrong with an ESP file compared to an ESM file? Like, when I was testing the ESP file, like there are certain moments when if I left Cydonia and come back, it would crash. Or reload a certain save in Cydonia, it would crash. I would have to actually go to the main menu and then come back in, and then it's fine. But yeah, we'll see, because I'm using the ESP file right now. Okay, cool. So I'm here. So I kind of designed it so that if you just want to end that last battle really quick, you just reset them. So that was something else I programmed in, because like I thought, hey, that's smart. You just, hey, instead of just going through this big battle, which if you have these two NPCs, like followers with you, it's like, it's not a, oh my gosh, you launched a grenade. Is that behavior change done with a sandbox or trigger box combo? I did a disable and enable method. So I decided I'm just going to keep the practice. I'm just going to keep the guys that are the standard, non-aggressive practice spots there. I'm just making them invisible right now. So all the practice spots that are originally here are invisible, and I just made a duplicate versions of them that are, well, yeah, and some of these are more powerful too. So, and I just set this up so that, hey, you know, if I just want to end this battle right here, I can just go here and reset the practice spots. And you complete the mission, and they're done. So I thought, it's like, oh, that's kind of smart. Let's set it up that way. If you want to just go, let me just finish it off. You can finish it off that way. So I programmed that. I put that in too. So yeah, that's what it was. I decided I don't want to change. I don't want to change the package on this guy, because I thought just changing or disabling them and re-enabling them again. Oh, I don't know what this guy's doing. He's stepping. Do it. Hey, 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 hey. 8. So yeah, so basically the quest, when it hit that quest, it triggered, hey, enable or disable these practice bots right here and replace them with enabled frenzied bots in their place. So as a concept. So that one quest trigger did multiple things. It removed a wall here. It added, I had a collision nav cut collision marker here. Or collision box. Enable, disable through the quest. Yeah. Yeah, you got yeah. So all these pieces, like all these flames, all these explosions. Well, some of the explosions, some of them I kind of planted a bunch of pieces here because I wanted to see more debris. And I actually put two huge gas tanks here to create that debris. Right? I also had a bunch of rubble just thrown up in here as well. So that was the process I had in mind to go through this. But yeah, that's what took the extra time. It's like, all right, how do I create explosions now? So because like I went through the enable disable methods. Like I want to disable the wall that's here and enable these two broken wall pieces. Right? I had that go on, and then it's funny because like I did that. It's like of course I was aiming for explosion, but like just to first test the concept, I started with I just replace or remove the door, add these two broken wall pieces. That's what I did first. And when I did that, it's like it's funny because it just appears it's like, oh, there's a hole in the wall now. So I really needed those explosions to cover up the process or cover up this piece. Like really sell like, all right, the method is disable and enable. How can I make that look right? How can I like create debris that's just thrown everywhere? How do I go through that process? And yeah, just I mean, and that was just a fun thought. It's like, where do I get this flame? How do I start it? And a lot of it was just through the enable and disable method. Yeah, this whole section. I mean, I get all the mobs to the door to everything here was through enable and disable. And this whole button right here is just a big enable and disable process. And yeah, that's fun. It's like I had a really fun time figuring it out. So like, I mean, once I figured out, oh, okay, enable, disable, like, and then figuring out like how explosions work and how that process works too, is like, it's really neat. And it's the first time I actually started using X markers to like define, all right, this is the spot where I want this thing to blow up. This is the spot where I want this to blow up. So there's a lot of those pieces in there. So let's dive in. Yeah, shall we dive in? I think it's time. I don't think there's anything else. Let me take maybe a look at this. Explosions, expire explosions, lighting, more objects fly around, enable disable markers, very helpful. Yes, they are. Updating packages on piece. I did update the package on this guy. So after the quest was over, I wanted him to go here and stay here versus be in the room that he started in. So that was one key piece as well that I wanted to figure out. What am I doing? And then you don't really hear it, but you hear a static when the first quest pops up, and there's a means to do that. But yeah, is there anything else that I want to figure out? Or I think that was all the things that I learned and discovered in the last week. All right, let's do it. So yeah, like it was just finally expanding that, and then try to have like this epic shootout happen here. And now you have a hole in the wall. So it was kind of funny. It's like, well, how do I connect this? Like, well, this cavern is actually kind of close to here. It's like, all I need to do is get this piece going, and boom! It's like, oh, sweet. Let's roll it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. And, oh, yeah. Good times. All right. So let's exit out of the game. And so let me see. I had this done in layers. So the first layer, or one of the layers, I had the original practice bots, and then the other layer that I had in here, I set them up as the frenzied robots. So yeah, there are 24 frenzied robots that I had going on. Well, okay, I added 3 from the practice bots, because what happened, as you saw at the beginning, right? So here's the original wall. So that disappeared. And this is the area that I set up a bunch of explosions. So there's 3 added robots here to kind of just, all right, if the wall blew up, I just want to have some action starting right here. I put all these canisters here because like the one thing that I didn't want to do is have or create a whole bunch of X markers that have an explosion to it. So that's what I did. And then I had this big tank that leaves a bunch of debris. This tank that's kind of put underground because I didn't want to see the base of it. So I decided to leave it underground so that the top parts shoots out more debris. And then what you see here is a bunch of rubble pieces. I put mineral deposit debris. So I put a bunch of these up top. And what happens is that when the stage is triggered in the quest, I said, all right, enable these. Enable these guys. Enable these guys, and when explosion happens, all of these guys are set off. And you'll see it in here too. Which wrong buttons? I'm trying to hide all of these objects. Okay, I can turn off the markers. Yeah. So I kind of just did a train of these guys, like, and have these just throw the rubble around. Throw the rubble around, create more debris, like random debris that happens in this explosion. So I wanted more debris here, and even on the floor here, I decided, all right, let me create use mound dirt rocks instead of something flat to kind of just give an idea that, hey, this is like kind of caved in. Even though this is kind of smooth, it works. It works. And flames. So yeah, let me see the pipe. Let me see if I can get this flame here. Oh, this is based on a marker. Yeah, this guy. If I can grab it. Yeah, fire generic OIT. So that's what I used there. But here's the thing, they don't actually light up anything. So let me disappear that. So I also had, and they already have lights that are set as fire. I think I renamed it because I wanted it to be brighter. So I took an existing fire-based light and just made it my own. Edit. Yeah, so I decided, all right, let me just make it. I wanted it to be brighter, so I just decided, all right, let me just update the radius. Is that all I did? Is that all I updated? I'm not even sure anymore. But I made it brighter. I wanted to get that a bigger fire feel, and I think I added a few more lights in here. But yeah, the actual flames, they don't do anything. It's like there's a flame here too. Get to it real quickly. Yeah, so I have this one flame. Oh, I'm grabbing the decal. So yeah, fire medium 01. It doesn't actually light anything. So I have this FX fire light here just to help out. And I think I put 2 of them. Yeah, I put 2 of them here. So 1, 2, and everything here, like everything, well, except for these guys. These guys are just here. But like, if I had this fire enabled, you already see it. Probably the lumens as well? Yeah, probably. It's like, I'm not sure exactly what I updated, but I updated it. But now that I understand, oh my goodness, these markers are so helpful. And I decided, here's one thing I did too. It's like, I wanted to say, oh, this is the one that I'm enabling, right? I decided, okay, this one enables. If it's disabling, I just flip it over. That's what I decided to do. It's like, okay, just help me stay organized. I know this marker is supposed to be disabling stuff. This marker enables stuff. So that was the process I wanted to go through. And I know, like, before I discovered this, I already put enable and disable for like the robot fight. I already placed it. I mean, it's not too bad, I guess. Where am I? Yeah. So I placed all of them. I set I set the big guy as the parent. It's not too bad, but and yeah, there weren't many, like, I didn't have to change them once, so at least it worked out in that way. But if there was a situation where, like, I knew that I might be doing updates to them, it's like, let me see, is there an update? Like, I might give them more stats maybe. Like, it's like I realized, like, man, it's too, like, this guy, like, this whole fight, if you have armament on your team, this fight is over already. It's like there's no, like, even just look at his health. Let me just look at his health. What do I have him at right now? He's at 21,000 health, and he's no match. He's already no match for your companions. So I thought that was kind of funny. I think it works for everything, Bobo Lewis. I think the enable disable method works for everything. At least I haven't encountered something that it doesn't work on. So I would think it would work for a conveyor belt section. Because, like, I wondered too, like, on this specific animation. Or what was it? This guy, right? Show him again. I thought it might not work for this one, but it did. So I thought, well, I mean, it works on actors too. So if it works on actors, I mean, I think actors are a big deal. I guess all this guy is. But then, So you haven't been able to get it to work for the conveyor belt? So I mean, yeah, this is just a movable static item. But yeah, so I also have this here. This is, I thought this was beautiful. Nav cut. Yeah, I'm trying to think, is there anything else I should talk about before I move on to nav cuts? Enable, disable, and okay, just to go through the process, it's gonna be this stage. So when we hit this stage, destroy frenzied Ramtech practice bots right here. Practice bots. This is all that's going on. Disable the bots, or which bots I'm disabling. And I had 3 different explosions happen because I had them go 3 different directions to help push things out in certain ways. Haven't tried enable disable markers. Okay, gotcha. I think it will work. My gut tells me, I mean, if it works for actors, I'm guessing it could work for a lot of things. I mean, I'm sure that's like, I'm sure that the enable disable process is how the whole game is, like a majority of how the game is built. Like just acknowledging is like, oh, this is all done through enable disable. Like a whole section of the city changing, enable disable. They're not creating a whole different zone for it. They're just using enable disable. Well, there is one area where I think it's the Nishina. Is that what it is? That, am I pronouncing it right? The quest entangled. The quest entangled. What that's doing is they have 2 whole sections, like from like the ruined side to the bright side, I guess, the dark side and the bright side, and they just have portals going back and forth from each one, which is pretty smart. Is that in one of the vids? I'll go back to. It's not in one of the vids I have now. I kind of demonstrated it in the last Learnstream, which I mean, yeah, I need to catch up on the tutorial vids. Now that I'm here, let me tell you this. I was so ultra focused on trying to create this, like finish this creation. I haven't done anything else. But yeah, so I think everything is done through enable disable. So I have this method for enable disable right here. So I disable bots, and it's just this disable. So I just said what the properties are. Property is going to be disable bots, which is, for this case, I had it to that one robot. If I'm going to use an enable marker, right? I think I did it here. So this one, yeah, this one uses the door blown up enable marker. And the one where I say drop floors, like drop floors, that's, oh, I didn't use that one yet. I didn't use enable marker. But from now on, I'm pretty much going to use enable markers to help me organize things. Because, like, that stays in place. That pretty much stays in place. I'd rather connect things to that. Because enable disable markers, you don't need to update those. Right? Like, you don't need to update a statistic on it. Like, if you make one of like the NPCs a parent and you attach everything to that parent, like, and you need to update that parent, it's like, well, you need to connect everyone. And in some cases, it's pretty easy. I'll admit too, like, it was super easy to do it because like all I had to do was select all of them at one time and use the batch to set the parent. So I guess it's not too bad. But it's nice and easy to say, all right, I know that there's this marker outside of the main area that I'm working, offset in an area that I know where to find it, and it's great for organizational purposes. So explosions. I had 3 X markers here. I'll show that in a bit. And that's another function. So yeah, disable and enable were put to 2 things. So disable blown door to remove walls for blow up, right? That was one in marker. And then enable blown door. That was a whole bunch of things. It removed Oh yeah, it put like the fires in there. It put the broken walls in there. It put in a just a lot, just a lot. So those are the properties I had in here. And so disable this is just disable function, enable this, enable function, tied to those properties. And then I could have just put all of them to just that enable marker, but initially I had it set up differently, so I just kept it. But yeah, I mean, essentially I could have just had all these guys go to 1. Then I had 3 different explosions go off. And this is done by, one, here's the property. This is the X marker that I had on to where the explosion was going to happen. And then this was the explosion. So we go back to properties. You have a property called explosion, and it's an explosion constant. So you have objects in here that are specifically explosion. So I modified one because I wanted it to be more powerful. But I also decided that I want it to blow in 3 different directions. So this is what I did. So you had 3 different markers here. And this is the nav cut collision marker, which we'll talk about next. And I decided, all right, I want one to blow the explosion this direction. And I had one that goes this direction, like push out more. So one that pushes up a little bit more, one that pushes out to the front, and one that pushes straight up. Right? And what I did for this explosion, let me see if I can find it. Let me zoom out real quick. Ram explosion. Because I didn't want it to really damage anybody. So I only made the damage be just 5. Because I want it to set off these other canisters. That's what I wanted to do. But it's going to have a huge radius so that it's big. I wanted it to be big. The force is big. So like you saw everyone move, and I thought it was great because after the explosion happened, I went to other rooms, looked at other rooms, and you saw like objects were floating around, which I think an explosion at this magnitude, that makes sense. So I said, all right, cool. So I placed these 3 different X markers. I gave it a let me see. Did I give it a specific name? Yeah. So I had reference ID. So I changed the reference ID. So this reference ID was Wall Explosion Effect 001, and I created 3 of them. So that made it easy so that when I go back to the quests, so I go back to the quest, go back to the frenzy piece, the properties, and it's like, all right, it's just explosion location 1, explosion location 2, and I want this those are the 3 spots, and then I wanted, where is it, wall explosion. That's the actual explosion, what do you call it, effect. There you go. So I set 3 of them to go off, and then that should hit these guys, because I just made like a trail of these objects. So I was like, I'd rather just do this, because these guys actually disappear. These guys create debris. So I'd rather do this than create more markers. Right? That was my efficiency thought. It's like, all right, just set off a set of these. I didn't set enable because there's a wall here. There's no chance. It hasn't happened yet. There's no chance that this would explode by accident. Because there's a wall here, and there's a wall on the other side. So this wall was disappearing, and when that happened, all this set off, and these guys come in through an enable method, and after these, so yeah, enable happens first, which is like milliseconds. So I want these objects here. Explosion happens right after that, and then boom, it just throws all these debris pieces everywhere. And even in here, so like even on this wall, I decided, all right, let me just put rocks in here. I also put in these other movable static pieces. I put space junk, another piece of space junk, so more debris that looks like, all right, this is part of the wall. And with these guys exploding, they look like they're part of a wall too. Like they look metallic, most of the people playing this probably have no idea that there's a gas tank behind this wall, behind here, trying to just create all this other debris. And that was the method I chose. Yeah, and that's it. That was it. And And the trigger for this to happen was through a stage. When we killed all the frenzy robots in the diagnostic rooms, it moved over to stage 100. So let me see. Check. Yeah. Check if they're killed. Cool. Set stage 100. Go to stage 100. Then set all these different functions off. So if I was going to do it differently, I'd probably enable frenzied practice robots. I'd probably just combine it here with that enable blown door. Disable these guys. That might be a little different because like the disable blown door, I wanted these guys to go off first, and I don't know if it makes a difference. It might not make a difference because it's literally milliseconds in terms of the view. So I kind of wanted the door to stay there until all explosions happen and make it disappear. But who knows? I mean, if I could decide to combine to disable bots, because like what I don't want it happen to do, like in that like little millisecond, I do not want the frenzied robots to start attacking the practice bots. But it might not even matter. It's like you're not gonna see it anyway, so I don't know. It might not matter, so it'd probably just say, all right, I might as well just combine them anyway. Who knows? Even if disabling the robots, the practice bots, was here with a blown door, disabling the wall, I should say, disable the wall, those wall section, it might not even matter. And yeah, that was the whole process. So this series of functions happened here. And place at me, that just means place at this reference, which is that explosion location. I was confused about, it might sound confusing at first. It's like place at me. It's like, I don't want the explosion to happen to the player. It's like, oh no, it means place at me, which means, but the me is that X marker, which is the explosion location. So that's there. Now, the part that that threw me off for a little bit, and then realized, oh wait, I need to figure out how to get this navigation cut, is that even though I have a wall here, of course, like I set the nav mesh. So if you look at the nav mesh, I set the nav mesh to go through the wall, right? To mimic the go through the wall, and it's going to go through all this too. So let me go ahead and make this disappear. Wait, I can't make it disappear yet. Here. There. So this nav mesh is going to go through here. Right. And perhaps I need a... It's like I added more things afterwards, but I could possibly adjust it, but it seems to be working rough for now. But like during this fight, this mini bot fight in this room, like you have all these other, or microbot fight, you have all these other little microbots trying to run through this wall. So that's when the collision marker happened. And it's beautiful. I didn't realize how beautiful it was. But this collision marker, nav cut. So you can create a marker that cuts the nav mesh and say, all right, this nav mesh is not here for now. And all you're doing is bringing in a collision marker. So one of these guys, right? And I don't know if I accidentally dropped one in, but that's okay. This is just a test. Oh, I did drop one in. Oh. All right, there it is. Wait, which one's the right one? That's the right one. Okay. So you drop one of these markers in, and you can adjust it by hitting 2, and you have all these different... Oops. Grabbed the wrong marker. But yeah, you can hit 2, and you can adjust it. And when you go inside the reference of it, you have this tab called primitive, and you want to change the collision marker to be L nav cut. And that just cuts up the nav mesh at that spot, which is ideal. So I don't want these guys trying to run into a wall. I have this nav cut here. So if they want to run somewhere, they'll have to run this direction. And like just using the enable disable method, when this wall blows up, this nav or this nav cut collision marker is going to disappear with it. So what's being blown up here. Okay, here's another. This is a huge nav cut. Oh, that's not a nav cut. Is that nav cut? Yeah, that's a nav cut. Oh, that's projected decal. Never mind. There is a nav cut here. This whole, there's like yellow marker. There it is. So I created this big, huge nav cut, so that way no one's gonna run through this huge wall. So I created a nav cut here. I mean, yeah, it's one big nav cut. It's fine. I was thinking, I was wondering, is it more efficient to create two? It's like, no, you want less objects. That's how I feel. Like, you probably want to have less objects if you can manage to have less objects. So yeah, that's how I ran it. Nav cut, and this wall, along with the collision marker that's doing the nav cut, disappear when this explosion goes off. And that creates the whole fight. Nav cut is beautiful. I love it when I think about it. It's like, this is it's like that would be really helpful in terms of just world building. So yeah, that's this area, and then what else? We covered that. Let's talk about. Oh, did I? Oh, hold on a second. Let me pull it up again. I closed it. Okay. So what's next? Nav mesh, nav cut, create a follower through the quest. Oh, we didn't do that. So this one's interesting. I didn't realize this, and I don't know if I haven't downloaded any other followers to play around with them, but this is this could be a means where you can have like infinite amount of followers without actually editing the property for it. So let me show you what we did here. Where is it? Is it on this one? Is it on the main quest? So there's a script. Default follower toggle quest script. And I think that if you create a script that's just, or a quest that's just for followers, you can create a loop just with this that doesn't affect your total, like the actual default follow method. So this is all it does. Pick your object, right? SQ followers. That stays the same. That stays the same. So this is that's like quest followers. Like think about, yeah, like that's how I do it. It's like when you get, if you have a follower with you, when you meet Andreja for the first time, she'll follow you and you have two companions, right? So the potential follower, this is your, I went through the alias method, but no, you can only go through the alias method, right? So, and that's where I picked it up. It's like, oh, I should do this for everybody. It's like you don't pick up the person directly through this. You go through the alias. So you pick the quest that you're using, or it could be an outside quest. So that's the other thought. It's like I accidentally picked Armament's follower quest, and of course Armament is still a unique guy there. So you can select a different quest and find a different alias based on that quest. So that might be another means in terms of quest architecture and how you want to set things up in case things break, right? Like in my mind, I'm thinking it's like maybe I just have a quest that's all aliases, and that's all it does. It's just support all the aliases in here that I want to refer to, and you can do that through your fragment scripts as well. Just refer to that one from a different quest. So yeah, he was in Sidonia, and Armament's here too. Boom, Armament. So that's my potential follower. Follow conditions. So this is actual form outside of this. So let me pull that up real quick. So we have a form called condition form. So you can create a form that has conditions and refer to them. So that was another interesting thing. So these are the conditions on when armament will be a follower. So I said, get stage done. So if stage 80 is done, like re-enabling armament from, and yeah, once again, you can pick any quest. So I'm picking the one that's here. And well, of course, you can create a whole bunch of other conditions. So when I re-enable armament, he is going to be my follower when I first re-enable him. And then once we destroyed the frenzy, like we finished quest 100, right? That's when he stops being a follower. So that's the conditions I set up. So an external condition form is brought into this, the follow conditions. What are the follow conditions? And stop follow conditions. So you have the follow conditions and the stop follow conditions referring to the same form, which is an interesting thought too. It's like that because I thought it's like, oh, I can potentially have two different forms to help me define what the condition is to start following or stop following. And then you have all these other pieces that say, all right, what triggers it? What triggers the checks? Right? Guess the other part. You have this condition form. Nothing checked. Like there needs to be some kind of trigger that checks the actual conditions. It doesn't just happen on its own. So, the one that I decided, like it could be an activation, like you walk over something, or you activate through entering something, or okay, so you have an activation trigger, so you activate something like a trigger, or like a door, or you're talking to somebody. So there's a bunch of things that could activate. You enter a ref alias, so like another like a what's it called? Like a trigger box. Like if you enter one of those, does it do something? Like enter or leave something. So yeah. Triggering on quests. Yeah, of course quests. So the one that I went with, stages. And this one refers to the quest that I'm in right now. So the Sidonia main quest, the main quest line for this. I want to check at 85. I want to check at 115 and 120. Like, I mean, essentially 115 is fine. I decided, hey, let me do. I technically don't need 120, but I put it in there just in case. I don't know. I just said because 120 is the official end. 115 basically says, I basically send like how I'm setting up stages right now. I send things to another stage before I go to the final stage. That's how I'm currently architecting my quests. But yeah, so that's how it's going. So like you have all these other pieces here that you can use as a trigger to check these conditions. Because conditions do not check on its own. Sometimes I wish it did, but I don't know. Maybe it's good that it doesn't. But it's very easy to call the conditions up. It's very easy to check. So now that I understand how those conditions work, like how you can trigger conditions, it's actually very helpful. So yeah, so that's how I'm getting the follower. So there's a script that says, what was the name of the script? I lost the name of the script. Configuring the script, default follower toggle quest script. Okay, so that was it. Great one, and because like I really wanted to go into this final battle like having two fighting companions, like OP companions going into it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll probably think about it. It's like, okay, I'll probably say I want to make this fight more intense. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I mean, I don't know. Even when I put it on extreme, it was easy. I put it on extreme. Like if you have armament and red 13 in there, it's easy. It's like you just let them do the work for you. But let me see. Yeah. So that's that piece. Let me see what else is there. So we create a follower. Boom. Nav cut collision. Boom. Explosions. Yes. 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 Make more objects fly around. Yes. Enable disable markers. Yes. Yes. So enabling packages on NPCs. this one was a lot easier than I thought. Because like I was wondering, it's like, man, how do I get like armament to not go back into the diagnostics room? I want him to now go into this area. I want him to be here, right? All it is another function that triggers through a stage. So if I go to quest stages, like at the complete quest, there's this one right here, evaluate package. That's what it is, evaluate package. So alias armament, that's going to the alias and get the actor reference for that alias. So that's finding armament. And then I'm just saying evaluate the package. So the packages, and there's even like other functions in there that says, hey, apply this package now. Apply this package now. But like if you want to go back to its default, I think that the appropriate piece is just say, hey, evaluate your packages and see what conditions meet it. So if I go to armament now, so looking at the actor, you have your AI packages, and I have 2 in there. One where he's in the room, and one where he's done. Or is that? Maybe that's the other way around. No, this is the other way around. So this is the main quest. That's funny. What's that? Did I break something? I did break something. I guess it doesn't matter. Luckily, it doesn't matter at this time because like now that I automatically set him to follow me, so I think this is something that I did beforehand. But now that I have him following me, like right away when I re-enable him, through that trigger, it didn't make a difference. But this is the one that does. Hey, what's up, Dance with Owls? Taking files, craning them into load, copy, paste, and I think one thing to note is that this was a 4-week project, and I was going at it constantly. Let me see. I'll probably look at my previous video, like when I first started this process. I think I was at 400 maybe? 400 or 500. And I'm at 800 right now. But yeah, like the weekends, I was just doing this all day during the weekends. It was on the whole time. But yeah, okay, so the package that mattered, just to say I want him to move to another spot, is this one. So get quest completed, so the Sidonia main quest is completed, and these factions, they just need to stay there, right? Because he's a he's someone that you can recruit. And the package was to go to this new patrol marker, and that's what it did. So it just took time to reevaluate. So where is he supposed to be now? Or what package is he supposed to be doing now based on the conditions that are set in the package? Are you like saying? So yeah, and then I have a marker here. Here's the patrol marker that said, hey, this is where you're supposed to be now. So be here, and of course you can move around. You have like sandbox options here, but that's the area that you're supposed to be. You're supposed to only move around like 6 meters away from this marker, and that's it. So that's evaluate package. That's how you like, and the trigger. I mean, yeah. So I mean, I'm using the quest for a lot of triggers, but there's like now that I've gone through this process and actually create something, there are so many different triggers that you can use. Like now that I know, I was like, okay, I have so many different things at my disposal. I have the enable triggers, so I have the activate triggers when you walk over something, or when you activate something. Like if I activate like a dialogue with somebody, that's considered an activation. If I pick up something, right? If I pick some like or access a chest right here, that's an activation. So you can use the activation script to say, all right, do this when something's activated. Like, oh yeah, even like the other quests that I just put in here. The what's it called? The microbot quest, right? So the microbot quest. Let's look at that real quick. Microbots quest. So all those guys are aliased, and if you go through all the aliases here, they have these two main scripts: default alias and activate, right? It does something when you activate them, and then it has a default counter when you activate them. So, and the default counter is on A. The only trick I can use after watching you is mount. Hilarious. So yeah, and then I'm using the default counter quest A piece. So this is the counter that says, all right, if you count up to 12, right? Because there's 12 of them, you need to find all 12 of them, then set the stage to 50, which means you completed the quest. So this is it's a very simple one. Like the counter type quest like this, it's so much. It's a lot easier than I thought, but at the same time, it could also be very tedious. But yeah, so essentially, I had 3 different stages for this. Like, so if you decided to just talk to one of the microbots, it just starts the quest. Like, I didn't want to only have you go to the terminal to start the quest. Like, if you just activate one of the microbots, it'll start the quest and it'll set the objective to 10. Like, you need to find them all, right? So let me see. Start looking for the microbots, and the log entry is: I just found a Ramtech ship crew microbot. I should look. Oh, I didn't even misspelled that. I should look for more of them. I'll edit that. So I need to make some updates already. Wow. Anyway, well, it's not too bad. It's just typo. But if you do read the entry on the terminal, right? I mean, what I'm doing, so like, set objective display is 10, and if you go to the terminal first, it'll still be set objective displayed at 10, but your log entry now says, according to the terminal entry, there are 12 Ramtech ship crew microbots. I'm going to find them all. So now you have, like, based on my logic, I thought it's like, all right, I found a microbot. I'm going to start the quest, but I don't know how many there are, unless you read about this creation. But if you find the terminal and that tells you, oh, there's 12 of them. Now I'm going to update a log entry to say, hey, there's 12 of them. You know, I think the funny part is I rarely look at the log entry, and I realize, like, oh, they have this here, because like the part that you usually just follow are the quest objectives. Find all the Ramtech ship crew microbots. And that's what I left it at. And then when you hit collect all 12, set number 10 completed, and complete the quest. Do I need to do this? Oh yeah, you do, because when you see the quest, you see all the check boxes. Microbots, when do their drones arrive? Right? I think that's another goal I have at one point. I was like, well, I want one of these bots that are flying. That's flying. And make it, I mean, yeah, you can create a race and make it fly, but I want to make it look like it has the capacity to fly. I don't want to have wheels and it's flying. I want to have look like those little graviton type things to have it go do what or make it look like it's doing what I want it to do. But yeah, figuring out this process, I think that was a day. That was a day. Like, figuring out how explosions work, that was a day. And the last one that I figured out, and when I finally start recording audio, I want to make it bigger, or maybe there's a better static option. But at the very first stage of the main Sidonia Underground quest, you play a sound. A sound plays. And the basic configuration of this is, what is the sound that's playing, right? That's in the properties. play it, and then in here, where is it being played? Right? So you can have like a super loud like sound be played somewhere else in the region, in the cell. And I decided, but you could also say, hey, I just want to have it sound at the player where you're at, because you know you're sensing it. You're sensing like you're detecting it, so you're hearing it. I mean, you barely hear it. Like you just hear like that's the quick static. But in the properties, what you're doing is you're going into static sound. So that was the name of the property I had, and it's a WWise event constant. And I chose the VOC SFX shipcom static. But you have all like, I guess the funny thing about it is, are these all the sounds in the game? No, it's not the dialogue though. Huh. Yeah, so it's not dialogue. Well, that's something I want to explore more too. So yes, I know this week was supposed to be the week when I started like looking into NIF files, but I had another like, oh, I want to try this now moment, and that's how things went down, guys. But it was fun. It was fun figuring it out. I mean, it's like, ooh, now I know how to do this. Now I know how to do this. Now, it's like just expanding the tools at your disposal of like, if you want to start creating these quests. Great content. You're almost Dances of Owls. There's a lot of things I don't know how to do yet. That I'm looking forward to doing. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah. That's it, guys. Holy moly, that's it. I'm gonna take a break. Oh, well, I'm gonna take a break for tonight. I'm not gonna do anything else. Like I published it. I finally got it published. It was a lot. It took a long time. Gosh, I'll be honest. It's a lot. I mean, of course, like kept on getting, like the scope of this project just kept on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And when I look at it now, right? When I look at it now, it's like maybe this is like with any project you do. It's like, oh, I could have done this, or I could have done this. Oh, I would love to do this. Like I was like, I want to add more here, or I could add more here. Like that was the other side of it too. It's like, ooh, like this section got bigger because like I wanted it to look like there was more people here, like participating in this like BattleBot area. So I had all that going on in mind. Like at one point I put sleeping bags in here. It's like, no, I don't want sleeping bags in there. I don't want that. I don't want to put sleeping bags in there. Okay, if you say so, did I hire you? Like even as bathrooms, like based on how these are set up, like they don't have a corner piece like this. So I took time to figure that out. It's like the reality is that this door, it's like this other part just thinking logically. It's like, well, the door shouldn't really open that way. I should, like, in reality is like if I went at this again, I would flip it. I'd flip it so that this corner piece, the door is here, so it would open up. It would open up that way and not like, get in the way to where you could go to the toilet. That was the thought I had in my head, but it's like, I don't know, man. Like, pick your battles. Like, there was one point, it's like, oh, I really want to make this look messy and so forth, and have doors on them. And it's like, no, maybe this is the only area like in this barracks piece that looks nice. Like, look how orderly this is. Look how orderly this piece is. Like, the toilet paper is in rows. All the towels are in rows. Like, this is the one place that all the crew members here decided, you know, it is one place we're going to keep as nice as possible. It's going to be the bathroom, guys. It's going to need a bathroom and showers. This is the one piece that's not going to be messy. No mess here. and they totally like destroyed this whole area. It's like, there's like, the bathroom is our kingdom. It will be pristine. Let me see. Is there anything else? Is there anything else? I think that's it. That was like the last stage that I had to figure out. And now I'll start creating some tutorial videos. Finally get to that piece where I fit, like showcase what I've learned now. I'm just gonna just think real quick. Is there anything else? Dances with the Owls. I'm gonna finally get back to the kiosk terminal in the next few days as well. And now that I know more, I figured out how to update it correctly. It's like without messing everyone else. All the stalls at it. I got the glitchy one. Oh, that's funny. Oh, this was figuring out this piece was interesting too. But I mean, it's pretty standard when you think about it. Like, because I added all the legendary mods to the to what's it called? So I put all the Starborn armor in here. But how the Starborn armor works is based on what current Unity level you're in. So I went ahead and just created legendary pieces for each Starborn armor piece that you can pick up right here. So I did that. But yeah, that was tedious. That's a tedious part. Oh, good man, they have chunks of ammo now too. Really? Oh, this was the interesting thing. So here's the thing: you usually just can't place an actor on a furniture piece like this. There usually needs to have a nav mesh in here. So what I did was I placed a random nav mesh on here so that this microbot can stand on it. So that's like everywhere where you see like a microbot inside a fridge or a freezer or some random spot somewhere. Like there's a small little nav mesh in here. And here's the thing, if you decide to hit like the balance for optimization piece on that nav mesh, all these little spots will disappear. They're gone. So you should, and I don't know how you guys feel. It's a lengthy process doing nav mesh. Like I know like when I created this area, I had to manually enter it in because I already had so many of these little spots. I didn't want to redo them anymore. Like, there's so many of these off one spots for nav mesh. Didn't want to redo them. Yeah. Because I think my process for nav mesh right now is initially start with the automated piece, fix up all the edges that need to be fixed, and then go from there. But yeah, like when I added these two new sections, I was like, all right, I have to nav mesh on my own. Oh yeah, so if regular items, they're fine. But the fact is that since this guy is an actor, he pretty much needs to sit on a nav mesh or he might end up in a different spot. Yeah, so like usually when I do this and like just place like an actor on here, right? He'll usually just be on the floor. But all these pieces, like all this toilet paper here, all these rows of toilet paper, they're removable. But yeah, and that's another like static. There's static pieces and there's movable pieces. Oh, what's the actual term for it? Like this one is a movable piece. So this is called miscellaneous item. You have another form called miscellaneous item as well. But yeah, some things are affected by, like, static items, static objects are not affected by physics. Miscellaneous, like this one right here, this bath towel. To go into it, static. So static objects. So this guy is not affected by physics. If I decided, hey, I want this guy to be just like up here, it'll stay there. But this miscellaneous item, they are affected by physics. There's another one called movable static. That's affected by physics. So that's where a lot of those that explosion area is. I just chose movable statics. I mean, I guess I wasn't paying attention to miscellaneous items, but miscellaneous items are affected by physics as well. So yeah, I only picked movable statics. So these guys, they appear once this wall is ready to explode. They appear and they get blown, which helps. Got all that TP. No wonder stores around. Yeah. So yeah. It was really fun. I mean, it was really fun just figuring this out. I mean, it's a lengthy process when you're learning and trying to do at the same time, for sure. But I feel like I'm a better person now. It's like, I know who I am now. I know what I can do. And there's still so much more to do. That's the other crazy part. I very much still feel like I'm a beginner. Let's look at that explosion again. But yeah, man. I've been usually going to like a little past midnight every night, just putting in a little bit more into it. So tonight, I'm actually gonna sleep before midnight. I'm thinking like 10. I'm thinking I'm gonna sleep at 10 tonight. Gonna go to bed. But yeah, let's look at that explosion one more time. This one. And now that I'm here, next week for sure, I'm going to start learning how to edit NIF files. All right, so we're in the microbot fight right now. Everyone gets knocked over. See all this debris come out. Thanks much for you're welcome, Bobo Lewis. I want to say Bobo-licious. I want to say Boba-licious for some reason, but Bobo Lewis. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, create that whole trail, and you can see that the debris is spread around. That was one of the key pieces I wanted to do. I just wanted to see a whole bunch of debris just spread around here. The Mecha Triple Mod, yes! I can't wait to customize those guys. To be honest, I really can't wait. Like, put hats on them, put whatever, but yeah. So yeah, I mean, they seem to be able to get through the nav mesh just fine. Here's that EM weapon specialist, so he's escaping. So this guy was placed over here in this corner. Like all this, all the dead microbots, just laying them around. That was a fun process to do too. So that was another like polishing piece, aesthetic piece I was working on. But yeah, like, I guess the funny part about this is not even, you don't even have to fight in this one. there's so many still. Oh. Here's the thing. And this is one thing I plan to do for this Ramtech AI set of chapters and so forth. These guys will eventually be explode, and what they will do is just run at you. And if they reach at you, they'll explode. That's one of the things I plan to set up in like one of the next following chapters in this process. Like Super Mario bombs? What do we call those guys again? Hold on. Bob-ombs. Alright, guys. So that's it. And the beautiful part is that, I mean, it's just using the whole disable, re-enable thing here. Okay, actually, there's one other command that's nice. Bob-o-loo. Oh! Nice. Bob-o-loo. So let me see. Let me just take a look at that menu for you. There's one piece. Exploding bots, yes. It's like, I mean, this is a start. We need to escalate, right? So to reset practice bot, there's this one right here, just to make sure that they stop, that you don't aggro them anymore. So game, get player, that's you. So I guess this is the global option to just pick the player, game, get player, and stop combat alarm. So that means anything that's trying to attack you right now is just going to stop. So that's one other interesting function that I was using in this creation. But yes, guys, that's it. That's all I have for tonight. I'm not learning anything more tonight. I'm going to just rest, relax, enjoy Thanksgiving. I think Friday. I actually might do it tomorrow. I'll see if I can update the cheat script. There's a few things I want to add. I know I got Shattered Space in there. I'll look up the chunks ammo. Is that actually in Shattered Space? That's what that is? I might not have the. I'll look it up. But yeah, guys, that's all I got for tonight. I'm gonna chill out. Maybe catch something on TV or something. I don't know. We'll see. But thanks for hanging out. Thank you, Dance with Owls. Thank you, Bob-o-loo. You're a boombot. Yeah, you heard. That's right. Thank you, Sadir, and anyone else is online but not in chat or watching on replay. Have yourselves an amazing day. Have yourselves an amazing week. I'm definitely not going to be here on Thursday, Thanksgiving Day here. But yeah, next Tuesday, we'll set a date. And this time, I will be trying to figure out how to edit NIF files. That's the next step in the progression. How do we do NIF files? So how do we add some clothes and hats to these microbots? How do you customize it? So anyway. No, it's mod. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Dance files. Thanks. All right, guys. Have yourselves a great one. We'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for all the love and support as always. We're going to bring you, of course, we're going to bring you the booty call music. Let's do it. Hey. Thank you, guys. Sending on the flying hearts. And I'm looking forward to Tuesday. I'll start looking up everything that I need. So then we can actually just start diving into. Gonna dive in blind into figuring out how to edit NIF files. Alright, guys. Have yourselves an amazing night. Have yourselves an amazing Thanksgiving. We'll see you all next week. Peace out.